Okay, this is your video on factoring trinomials using the universal method. It's checklist number 6. It follows along lesson 9.6 on 524. I'm kind of showing you a little bit of a different method, so if you want to use this one and then go back and look at lesson 9.6, that's fine. Okay, so I have 2 examples that I'm going to use with you. It might seem a little cumbersome at first, but I think you'll find that this method is the kind of go-to one. It's the one I like to use. Okay, so we're going to start. What's different this time is now we have a coefficient in front of our first term that's not 1. Okay, so that poses a little bit of a problem because when we get ready to FOIL, we have to FOIL so that our first numbers just don't get x squared. They are going to have to get 6x squared. So there's a couple of steps we want to do. So fill in your chart as we go, and I'll do my best to help simplify this for you. First, it would be helpful for you to put the pen down. Okay, so it's deciding it's not going to cooperate. First, you're going to check to make sure that we don't have a greatest common factor. So there's no need to factor out. In other words, the coefficients 6, 17, and 12 don't have a coefficient or a factor that's common except for 1. Right? Which is true, they don't. So this is as simple as I can get it. Next, make a product sum chart to find factors. And we're going to do this. So, product sum chart. You multiply this coefficient times this. So, A times, not B, A times C. 6 times 12. That's 72. And you begin to list the factors of 72. You could have said 6 and 12. You could have said 1 and 72. You could have said 2 and 36. Okay? So you make a product sum chart because remember this is just like it. You're going to take A times B or whatever, and that has to be the same as, then you have A plus B. Has to be 17. So in other words, you're looking for factors over here that you can add together to get 17. Well, as you can see, that's this. 8 plus 9. Okay? So we did that. So our next step is to write your double bubbles using your factors. Okay? Here's our double bubbles. Those are these things. So we're going to write x plus 8 and x plus 9. Okay? Just with me so far, I hope. Number 4. Divide factors by the leading coefficient. Okay? What was my leading coefficient up here? 6. So I'm going to divide each of these by 6. Okay? Then reduce. So then simplify. All right? So now I have x plus 2 goes into both of those, 4/3. And then I have x plus 3 goes into both of these, 3/2. Okay? Just bear with me. Follow these steps. It's a sure all way. And lastly, number 5. Move the denominator to the front of each bubble. In other words, this denominator now becomes the coefficient of x, and this denominator now becomes this coefficient of x. So we end up with 3x plus 4 times 2x plus 3. Okay. Is that what they ended up with here? Ta-da! It is. So you can see 4 and 5 right here. Okay? So let's go over our steps again. Make sure we don't have a greatest common factor, which we didn't. Make our chart, which is over here. Write our double bubbles. Divide by the leading coefficient. Simplify. Okay? Let's do one more together. Are you ready? Okie doke, here we go. Step 1. Greatest common factor. Excellent. Cannot find my mouse over here. Do I have a greatest common factor? No. Step 2. Make a product sum chart, okay? 12 times 10. 120. Okay? 1 and 120. 2 and 60. We could go, but we're looking for a negative 7 here. Oh, sorry, it was minus 10. My bad. Minus 7. When it's a minus here, that means my larger factor needs to be negative. So they're going to be numbers that are pretty close together. How about 40 times 3? Those aren't really close together. About 15. Does 15 go into 120? It probably should. About how many times? No thoughts? Oh my goodness, we're going to have to get our calculators out and try. How about 8? Ooh, we're getting closer there. Ooh, we might have found the jackpot. So if 15 and 8 is our pair, what needs to be negative? The 8 or the 15? The 15. Because 15, negative 15 plus 8 is negative 7. Okay? Remember what 3 was? Make our double bubbles, right? So we have x minus 15, and we have x plus 8. Okay? Remember what our next one was? Yes, divide by the leading coefficient, which was 12, right? So over 12, then simplify. So now we have x minus, between 15 and 12, 3, 5/4. And then 8 and 12 is 4, so x plus 2/3. And lastly, what do we do? Yep, we move the denominator to the front, the simplified denominator. So 4x, write it down here, 4x minus 5 times the quantity x, 3x plus 2. We can double check. What's 4 times x times 3x? 12x squared minus 5 and negative 5 and 3x is minus 15x. 2 times 4 is plus 8x. And negative 5 times 2 is minus 10. When it's all said and done, we ended up with the same thing. Okay? Factoring trinomials using the universal method.